Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
Giant sized man thing.
Sorry, kids. It's not giant size this time.
Just regular sized.
Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Tales. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, number one man thing man. Come and get it, Foolkiller. It is.
Come and get it, Foolkiller. Justin the Owl's got your number.
That's right, kids. This time, yes, we're continuing the Halloween spooky season. This time we're covering, like I said, Man Thing 1 through 4 from 1974.
Yeah. This was my pick because we had so much fun last year in October covering Giant Size Man Thing, the full 5-issue miniseries. I thought,
right,
man, we've got to cover some more Man Thing. And I didn't realize that this is the 50th anniversary of this series.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
1974. I didn't even realize that when I had picked it.
That's right. Yeah. And that's right, kids. I mean, anniversary or not, I mean, Justin couldn't get even that giant size man thing wasn't enough for him.
That's right. And that was a whole year ago. I mean, come
on. Spiritual successor of Little Hellfire here. All right.
Very hard, very tempting.
And we won't have any Man Thing on the roster next year for October. So
yes, but we will. Yes, but we do have something special planned for our next.
Oh,
October.
yes, we certainly do.
Nice little crossover between Marvel Tales and X-Men Classics. So
yes,
there's a hint for you, kids.
Yeah,
it'll last the whole month.
We're doing a couple of really big crossovers next year.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we're doing some stuff that ties in the Marvel movies next year to get you up to speed, like some Cap stuff, some Thunderbolt stuff,
some Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yes, so stay tuned, kids. It's only ramping up from here.
That's right. Marvel Tales is on a roll, baby.
And I know never want to tell you boys what to do, but yeah, better talk to Russell. You guys might have to add some Red Hulk in there next year.
Oh, they're already doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Josh, our new co-host on Gamma Charge.
Oh, nice.
And Russell are doing where we're doing 2 episodes a month now.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the Red Hulk.
Oh, nice
stuff. And then Russell and I, with the second episode each month, we are doing alternating coverage between our continuing spotlight on Immortal Hulk and the sensational She-Hulk, originally started by John Byrne and then picked up by several other people. And sometimes I'll be joining Josh and Russell as well for the Red Hulk stuff. I'll be popping in here and there, kind of like I do on Electric Mullet.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, good times ahead for Gamma Charge as well for regular listeners of that show.
That's right, kids. Follow this Justin the Owl everywhere.
That's right.
All right. So, should we jump into these Man things?
Yeah. There's a lot going on in these issues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, I mean, issue 1 is probably my least favorite, but just because it's like you kind of jump into the middle of a story. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. And also on a side note, speaking of Russell.
Yes.
Russell and our good pal Noel also for a while did a podcast called Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast.
Exactly.
Yes. And they actually covered this issue in full on that in that series.
Oh, yeah.
They covered this issue and another one. So
Yeah,
I
because
definitely advise people to go check that out because that was a great episode.
Howard the Duck is in this issue. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I see we got a heart from Russell. All right, thank you, Russell.
And I heard a rumor it might be possible that Trapped in a World might be making a return at some point down the road, possibly. It's not been confirmed yet. It's just a rumor, but
well, they did leave unfinished business, like unfinished questions, like
You know how duck penises work, right?
inquiring minds need to know.
All right, so yes, because they were Noel especially big Steve Gerber fans over there.
Yes, big time.
But that is a kick-ass cover though.
Oh, the cover is so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, this first issue is really kind of the most baffling first issue to any series
They kind of did this
that I can recall.
Yeah, they kind of did this in the 70s. I don't know why, because they did it with Johnny Blaze when he first showed up as Ghost Rider.
Yes.
Those were, what was that, Marvel Spotlight or something? And then once Ghost Rider
Son of Satan.
Yeah. But they went right from whatever that was, Marvel Spotlight or something, right for that in the Ghost Rider. It's Ghost Rider #1. It's like, continue from Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah. Son of Satan was the same thing. Yeah, there are a couple of others too. It was so weird how they did that. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's their way to try to sell a new series, but if you're just picking up a new #1, it's like, okay.
Yeah. I can imagine that people in 50 years ago were picking this up off the newsstand, the spinner racks or whatever, and being like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Especially if they had no clue who any of these characters were whatsoever.
And why is the corner box Man-Thing's ass?
It's a side profile,
I guess. All right. So, Man-Thing #1 from January 1974, Battle for the Palace of the Gods. Writer Steve Gerber, like we said, penciler Val Merrick, inker Sal Trapani, colorist Dave Hunt, letterer John Costanza.
Costanza.
Told you he's always there. And editor Roy Thomas. All right. Strap in, kids. And again, this story is continued from Fear #19. at the FA Schist construction camp, Man-Thing, Korek, and Howard the Duck are confronted by demons that are followers of the Overmaster, who seeks to take over all of existence. The Overmaster. Well, at least he's not the
hard master.
Don't get them confused, all right?
No.
Yeah.
Who seeks to take over all of existence. Fighting a losing battle against the nigh indestructible demons, the trio are saved by a last-minute intervention by Dakim, who asked them to join him in stopping the Overmaster. Meanwhile, Jennifer Kale is a prisoner of the Congress of Realities, who are waiting for the arrival of the Overmaster to execute her. When the Overmaster arrives, he orders his men to execute her. However, they fail to do so when a dimensional shift causes Daredevil and Black Widow to briefly appear in the room and disarm her executioners. Jennifer is suddenly turned into water and leaks between the floorboards and rematerializes in between realms where Dakim and the others are waiting for her. Explaining that they need to realign the nexus of all realities, the foursome begin to hop across the dimensional path. However, Howard trips and falls into the dimensional void. In order not to lose any more of his companions, Dakim creates a helmet of protection for Korek. When the trio arrive at the center of the nexus, they succeed in realigning it. However, it also gives the Overmaster and his Congress of Realities access to the realm of Thera, where they hope to kill the gods that reside there and take over. Traveling to Thera themselves, Dakim and the others stop the Overmaster's army's progression to the Palace of Thera. There, the Overmaster unmasks himself, revealing him to be the demon Thog. The Man-Thing battles Thog and his minions, burning those who fear him, and when Thog becomes afraid of plunging into the moat of Terran water, Man-Thing grabs him and he begins to burn as well. With his hands melting, Thog tries to break free and ends up falling in the moat of pure water, which seemingly kills him. With their master defeated, the Congress and its armies retreat back from whence they came. After the battle, when the others wonder why the gods of Terra didn't help in the battle, Dakim shows that they never lived in the castle at all, but in the village below, and that the gods of this realm are two dogs under the care of two farmers. When the man thing touches one of the dogs, they are all shown the full of reality before all being sent to their respective homes. All right, forget the fact that this picks up, in the middle of a story. For an issue 1, doesn't it seem like Man Thing's almost like a passenger along for the ride, just
Just
along
a
for the ride
witness.
on this
Yeah,
adventure? Yeah.
totally. Because I mean, he does kind of have a climactic confrontation with the Nether Spawn, and like pushes him into the water and stuff. He's kind of responsible for his defeat, but yeah, it's so strange, isn't it? Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, if I was buying this in 1974, I would have been more interested to see how the next issue could have possibly picked up where this left off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting too. I wasn't aware of this when I chose this these issues for this episode, but Jennifer Kale is appearing in the new Disney Plus series Agatha All Along.
That's
She's one
right.
of the coven of Agatha Harkness in that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So
50 years later, she gets a live action representation. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I can't remember. So did Howard have his own book at the moment, or is he when he fell through that thing? Is he landing in his own book, or what's going on?
I think he spun out of that. I think, yeah, unless there was like, I don't remember.
So maybe this adventure that came from Fear 19 was meant to spin out a bunch of books like Man Thing and Howard.
Howard the Duck. Yeah, a bunch of different stuff. Yeah. And I think maybe Dakeem and Jennifer Kale had their own thing for a while. But I can't remember what the name of it was. Or maybe they kept going in the pages of that book, Fear. Maybe that was their book. Yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't think they had a self-titled book. They were probably in something like this in Fear.
Yeah, it wasn't titled after them. It was something different. Yeah. But I really love this. I love just how weird and just off the wall it is. The whole thing with Jennifer Kale turning into water and then dripping through the thing, and then walking through the staircase and Howard falling off it. It's just so many weird things happen. There's that panel where there's just all of a sudden this car that comes through the fabric of time and space, and there's a sideways word bubble off to the side that sort of editor's note from Steve Gerber. Yeah, it's just so much weird stuff happens here.
Yeah, I was looking it up. Yeah, I think this did spin off Howard because they had said after he fell through the dimensional thing, he lands back on Earth in the city of Cleveland, where he first faced the menace of Garko the Man Frog.
Oh, so yes, yeah.
Yeah, and then the next entry is then it was Bessie the Hell Cow. So yeah, I think this
Bessie the Hell Cow. I don't know though. I still think that Howard might have been appearing somewhere else though.
Yeah, but I mean, this might have
been
when he fell through that portal, he might have where he actually got his own series. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna look up the aforementioned Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast, because they were going chronologically.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh
yeah. So here we go. Fear number 19 and Man Thing number 1 was the first episode. Of Trapped in a World.
So Fear 19 might have been Howard's first appearance because I think it said something.
I kind of think so. Yeah.
For under Man Thing number 1 here, it says Howard the Duck name revealed. So.
And then after that, he appeared in Giant Size Man Thing 4 and 5 in the backups.
Oh yeah. Isn't that where the Garco stuff and the Hell Cow stuff was?
Yes.
Behind side.
The
Yeah, I
Hell
remember
Cow.
listening to their episodes. Yeah.
Yep, the Hell Cow. Yeah, and then after that, Howard got his own series.
Hmm.
So he bounced around a little bit before
We,
he got his own series, but
we could have gotten all this information if Noel Tate had showed up. That's right, Noel Tate. Yes, kids, I'm playing the Scary Mary game. Noel Tate. See, that's how you. Well, I guess it's not going. You know how you summon them, right? You get a Republican to say Noel Tate into his mirror 3 times. All right. Oh my God, that'd be the greatest SNL skit if, like, like Trump says Noel Tate into a mirror 3 times. Or Chuck Dixon.
Chuck Dixon, yeah.
Please, oh my God, we need a Halloween episode every year, just like The Simpsons. That would be one of the first things.
Ethan Van Scriver. Oh my God.
Oh my Lord.
So funny.
All right. So yeah, I mean the first issue wasn't bad. It was just, again, it picks up in the middle of another story, and
yeah, it's a little confusing, especially if you hadn't read Fear Number 19.
And I think the point you were making too, it's like you really don't get a sense of who the Man-Thing is if this is like the first exposure to the Man-Thing. It's like, oh, he's this swamp monster who can burn people, and
right, but that's it.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, reading these, I was like, yeah, like characters like the Man-Thing, or even like the Man-Wolf, which we did earlier in the month. It's, you have to, like, for when you have characters like this who are creatures who really don't even like talk a lot. It's like you really have to build like a strong cast around these characters.
Yes. Yeah, you have to have some type
Something has to be
of
going on around them.
Yeah. The voice of the reader has to be channeled through one of these characters. And it can't just be like a constant dialogue boxes of descriptions of what's going on around the Man-Thing. And we get enough of that in these first 4 issues, which is fine, but you've got to have something else. You've got to have some exposition.
Oh yeah, because like even like the Man-Wolf, he transforms back to human eventually. Swamp Thing doesn't transform. He's always a Man-Thing.
He never speaks. And there's not even any thought bubbles.
No, because
it's not like he's just mute and he can't speak. He can still think, and like, yeah. And it's not like Swamp Thing who was able to speak, but he like a stunted delivery. He spoke in the kind of this broken English type of thing. But yeah, the Man-Thing cannot communicate at all.
He barely has a brain. He basically operates on instinct. Yeah.
Yeah. He cannot communicate with anyone. I mean, we see that in recent years that's changed.
Yes.
He appeared recently in the Incredible Hulk series and was actually Ted.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah, it was interesting. But for this incarnation of the Man-Thing that we see here, there's no way that he's going to be understood.
I mean, I'd say it's probably like the first decade or so. Yeah, he can't communicate or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get to number 2?
Yes. And this one probably should have been the first issue.
Yeah. I think I even thought that. I'm like, this would have been a much proper. Yeah, number 2.
Definitely.
If they had found a way
they could have kept that other one in Fear, and like had that been another issue of Fear or something.
Or if they had found a way to delay that, so like they pay off that Fear issue like a couple issues in, maybe. But yeah, not for the first issue, it seemed weird.
Yeah, it was very strange.
All right, so the Man-Thing number 2 from February 1974. Nowhere to go but down. I think we got the same. Oh no, I was gonna say same team, but colorist this time: Petra Goldberg, letterer Gene Izzo, and I think everyone else is the same. Richard Rory, oh Lord, Richard Rory, down and out loser, is minding his own business while camping in the Florida swamps when he accidentally spills coffee on an alligator.
Oops.
Yeah, 'cause that happens all the time.
Yeah, you know.
Let me get a rat on your alligator back, bro.
The gator naturally attacks him, which prompts the man-thing, which had been silently watching Rory, to rescue the man from his reptilian attacker. When the man-thing finishes the gator, Richard tries to get the man-thing to administer first aid to his injuries, but he blacks out due to blood loss. Listen, look at Justin listening intently. Man-thing, Richard. I mean, yeah, he's all. When he comes out of it, he finds that the man-thing is gone, but he has been replaced by a woman named Ruth Hart. Ruth has patched Richard up, and when Richard asks her about the muck monster, she tells him that she saw him there alone. She tells Richard that she needed to find somebody to stop people from killing her and has elected Richard for that job. Meanwhile, at the office of F.A. Schist is having a board meeting where he and his executives try to figure out a way they can destroy the man-thing. Hargood Wickham, an MIT graduate, offers to deal with the man-thing and is hired by Schist to do the job. While back at the swamp, Ruth and Richard get to know each other. Richard explains to her his hard luck in life. Silently watched by the man-thing, the muck monster eventually leaves the two to some privacy and wanders the swamp. It's in its travels, it runs into the Skull Crushers, the biker gang which Ruth used to be a part of. When they see the creature, they attack it, but nothing works. When their leader, Snake, tries to attack the creature with a chain, the man-thing grabs him, and his momentary fear causes him to be burned by the muck monster. When the man-thing finally departs, Snake vows to get the creature and orders his gang back on their bikes to find Ruth and the money she took. While at the F.A. Schist construction site, Schist is shown Hargood's invention, the slaughter room, which will lure the man-thing in with sounds and then kill the muck monster. While back with Ruth and Richard, Ruth tells Richard that she's on the run from the gang because she's blamed for stealing the gang's treasury, but she confesses it was really her former lover, Snake. When the gang finally finds her, Ruth flees into the swamp and Snake attacks Richard. However, when Richard questions Snake about the truth regarding the gang's money, Snake denies it and runs into the swamp after Ruth. Meanwhile, the man-thing finds itself drawn to the slaughter room. Pained by the sonic vibrations emanating from inside it, the muck monster is attacked by flame devices designed to incinerate the man-thing. However, the creature manages to destroy the device by throwing chains at its controls. At that moment, Ruth has fled onto the construction site, followed shortly by Snake and Richard. Both end up at blows, but when the man-thing indifferently throws away the chains it used to free itself, they strike Snake. The blow to the head, killing him. Sickened by the sight of the dead man, Schist and Hargood flee the scene, and a grateful Richard believes he's beaten the odds and that finally his luck will start changing. All right.
Oh, I was laughing my ass off during this whole issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, this is so good. First of all, we've got the villain named F.A. Schist.
I know.
Which is great. We've got the opening sequence with the dude spilling coffee on the alligator. Oh, I was like, this is some prime Steve Gerber stuff right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The whole the panel with the man-thing observing this dude being mauled by this alligator. It's fantastic. And then we get little bits of genius, like this dude telling Ruth about how Richard telling Ruth about how he was born. He's like, in fact, it all started the very moment I was born. The OB was all ready to slap me into the world, but the world slapped first. I slipped right through his fingers. That sort of set the tone for the next 23 years. And it shows the dude dropping the baby
On his head.
And then you got the skull crushers who are great. They're like, no way, fearless leader. I want to cut this creep into ribbons of slime. Look at him. He's scarier than the women was. Let's see what color blood you got, you freak.
And again, that Richard Rory, he would make other appearances in the Defenders. I remember I read
Yes.
Savage She-Hulk. He was in She-Hulk for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember if I knew this or not, but it said, he's loosely based on his creator, Steve Gerber.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Can you imagine seeing yourself that way?
That's so funny. It fits. It totally fits. Yeah. And the part where Snake hurls his chain into the man thing, so funny, and it just gets stuck into his into his body.
I know.
And then the part at the end, I mean, that was just brilliant when he at the very end, Man Thing hauls that chain out of his form and then just kind of casually tosses it aside. And then it ends up clocking Snake in the back of the head and killing him. Oh my God, I loved it so much. Yeah.
Imagine feeling lucky as a dead man fall on top of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Richard Rory. Yeah, my luck's changed.
Yeah. Suddenly things are looking up.
Snake.
Yeah. So good, right? These typical like 1974 era biker gang scumbags.
Cobra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, who knew? Yeah, who knew when I dated a guy named Snake, he'd be a biker member named Snake, that he'd be hostile.
Yeah, that he'd want to like track me down and kill me someday. Who would have thought?
Oh, good.
And that's typical Steve Gerber too. Just the whole circumstances of how this random woman, this random nurse of all people, comes along, just as this dude has just gotten mauled by an alligator. She just happens to be there, and she nurses him back to health and feeds him some hot dogs and beans and stuff.
And then this guy they hired to kill the Man Thing. Oh yeah, he's known in some circles as Professor Slaughter.
Professor Slaughter. Yeah, that's a very 1974 name too. Yeah, this is great. What did you think of this? Was this your first time reading this one?
I think I was gonna say I read some Man Thing, but yeah, I don't. Did I read this? I don't think it, but I mean, I liked it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Again, you were right. This should have been the first issue.
Yeah, I feel like this would have set the tone for the whole series a lot better than the first issue, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I love the artwork in this too. It's so good. Yeah, it's even better than the artwork in the first issue, which was the same artist.
Yeah. I wonder if the artist was just like, like the sword and sorcery stuff didn't do much, but it's
right.
It's like I signed on to do Man Thing. I want to draw the swamp. I want to
I want to draw some actual like swamp horror stories rather than the sword and sorcery fantastical stuff.
All right, so should we get to number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, and the first appearance of someone else.
Yeah, another villain, another nemesis.
Nemesis. I can't believe it isn't on the cover, man. I thought they would have promoted.
I know, right? Isn't that weird? Yeah.
There's just more gators on the cover. All right, so Man Thing number 3 from March 1974, Day of the Killer, Night of the Fool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big clue. Steve Gerber writer. Oh, okay. Steve Gerber and Val Mayerick is still here. Inker Jack Abel, colorist Linda Lessman, letterer Gene Simic, and editor Roy Thomas. So we seem to be flip flopping colorist and letterer here. So
yeah.
At the site of the FA Schist construction site, the Man-Thing recalls how the slaughter room device caused him so much pain, so the creature fights through a number of Schist construction workers in order to destroy it. Meanwhile, the truth about their stolen money determined, the Skull Crushers thank Richard and Ruth for their help before leaving the newly formed couple. On the road, the biker gang comes across the Foolkiller, who determines the entire gang to be fools and kills them all with his laser pistol. But before learning the location of Richard Rory, as Richard and Ruth are given gas by a helpful stranger, F.A. Schist and Hargood continue to conspire to destroy the Man-Thing. When they are confronted by the Foolkiller, who gives Schist 24 hours to live, but flees to destroy another target, the Man-Thing. When Schist orders his men to grab him, while on the hunt of the Man-Thing, whom the Foolkiller knows is Ted Salas, he spots a helicopter. Thinking it's one of Schist's, he shoots it down. The downed helicopter draws the Man-Thing to its location, and he saves its occupants, because in reality, they're family, not people employed by Schist, from a pack of hungry alligators. After the Man-Thing saves their lives, the muck monster is attacked by the Foolkiller, who seemingly kills the beast with his laser pistol. All right. Thoughts?
I think this was my first time reading these next two issues. The Foolkiller story, yeah. So I really enjoyed this, for the first time. I knew of the character of Foolkiller, but I guess I hadn't read very much of his appearances.
Yeah, because he would have. Well, I think there was a second one, like one or the other would appear later on. Because it has to be another one. Because after we'll get to issue 4, what happens to the Foolkiller?
Right.
There is a
and he fought Spider-Woman, right? Or
maybe I know. I think he even confronted Spider-Man at one point too in Amazing
Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Was that Roger Stern, or I can't remember? It was somewhere close to that era.
See, I thought that he or another version of Foolkiller fought Spider-Woman a bunch.
Let me see if I can find.
We should ask the High Priest of Khonshu and host of To Know Her is to Fear Her, the Spider-Woman podcast.
Oh, yes.
He would know the answer to that.
Trying to find. Oh yeah, there was Kurt Gerhardt, who became the Full. It looks like there was a Foolkiller series in the Foolkiller one from August 1990.
Oh.
So
there must have been a bunch of different Foolkillers.
Oh yeah, there was, because Greg Salinger became the second Foolkiller. Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Oh jeez. Yes, because he's after Richard Rory. No. Yeah, Salinger. Yeah, because again, this original Foolkiller kind of has a religious bent. Salinger was more secular. He found that fools were people who lacked poetry in their souls. Oh, okay. So the second Foolkiller's first appearance was Omega the Unknown #9 from April 1977.
Which was, I think, another Steve Gerber story.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like an interesting idea where like the mantle just keeps shifting hands.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, well, of course, we show them some Defenders issues. Amazing Spider-Man 225. Oh yeah, Version did fight Deadpool. Yeah, I'm not seeing Spider-Woman unless she showed up in those Defenders or something.
Okay.
Seeing Defenders 74 and 75, so.
Must be getting mixed up with somebody else. Yeah.
So, all right. All right. So, should we talk? Yeah, let's wait. All right. So, let's do issue 3 here. Oh, wait. I did an issue 3, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you just read that one. Yep. It's getting late. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah,
What were your thoughts on this one, Phil?
I liked it. Again, I've read some Foolkiller, but I never read like the original first appearance. So yeah, it was nice to see where it came from. And yeah, what you think about that? I mean, you could really tell Gerber had a message because again, Foolkiller has like a religious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and it really came to kind of fruition in the next issue, as we'll discover about that whole, like, the catalyst for all of that stuff. Really, yeah, that was cool. I really enjoyed that, and the fact that he had a weapon that could even do damage to the Man-Thing. Like, there's been nothing so far that can, in the last 2 issues, that could do anything to the main star of this series, other than confuse it, basically. And here we have a gun that blasts it and it collapses at the very end. It's a great cliffhanger ending. And I have to say that the artwork in this issue was even better than the previous 2 before it, especially that there's a glorious 2-page spread there.
Oh, with fighting gators again.
Yeah, with the gators and stuff. Yeah, it's just glorious. I love that. I love that to bits. It's so good. And the panels that come after it, with him facing thrashing against them in the swamp, and then the appearance of Foolkiller, and he just starts blasting away at the Man-Thing. It's really great artwork, and it's great storytelling as well.
Oh yeah,
it's done in a very methodical way.
Oh, got another Man-Thing fan here. Man-Thing.
Hey, Russell.
You're a piker, son. You never be a fan of as much of a Man-Thing fan as Justin. Hey, look, it's our friend Russell.
Howdy, y'all.
Yes, Russell, we were just talking about when you and Noel covered Man-Thing #1 on the very first episode of Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast.
Over a year ago, you did.
Yeah. That was like 2 years ago now. Yeah.
Where's the Gator Nuggets? But yeah, like you said, that ending where he blows a hole through the Man-Thing with that laser pistol.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. And there were some other random things in the story. I mean, I'm always consistently surprised whenever I read a Steve Gerber story. There's always some random thing that happens that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And in this one was no exception. There's this dude that just randomly shows up when Richard and Ruth are stranded with no gas, and he says, "Oh yeah, I've got a couple gallons in my car. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah." And then he gives it to him and just drives off. I'm like, okay. I mean, we might see him later, but knowing Steve Gerber, like, maybe we'll never see him again. Or maybe he'll get shot by an elf with a gun in some issue, or who knows?
Oh my lord, there was a link for it said that helpful stranger. So guess what comes up when you click on the link for helpful stranger?
What?
Steve Gerber.
Oh, it is him. Yes, that's right.
I guess, right.
I think we see him in the next issue too, briefly. Yeah,
because when we click it, it says Steve Gerber, Earth 6.
That's right.
Yeah, Steve Gerber was a comic artist who became wrapped up in a battle against Thog, assisting Dackham in the Man-Thing. He reported it not as a comic book script, but as a personal letter to his editor Len Wein with a copy for artist Jim Mooney in case they wanted to publish it. After the battle, Gerber, who had become a disciple of Dackham, decided to stop writing Man-Thing comics. Gerber later interviewed presidential candidate Howard the Duck for a print publication.
It's so fantastic. I love everything about it.
And yes, kids, this was the first appearance of Steve Gerber. So
He's a disciple of Jack.
oh my.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh my God. That's again, I was gonna say we should do an election night special. We had to talk about that Cap issue where he almost gets elected president. Talk about Howard the
Talk
Duck.
about Howard for president. Yeah.
Nolan Russell in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my. All right. So we get to the last issue.
Yes. I like that idea.
Let's wrap up this Foolkiller. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And again, no Foolkiller on the cover here.
I know. It's so weird. Yeah. They must have had all these covers done ahead of time.
Maybe. Yeah. Because they are kind of, well, not so much 3, but yeah, this one's kind of a generic cover.
Yeah.
All right. Man-Thing number 4 from April 1974. The Making of a Madman. Got Steve Gerber, Val Mallory, Jack Abel, Linda Lessman, colorist again, letterer Dave Hunt, and editor Roy Thomas. With the Man-Thing seemingly killed by the Foolkiller, the father of the family the Man-Thing saved from the alligators, whose helicopter was shot down by the Foolkiller, tries to attack the Foolkiller. The Foolkiller then eliminates him with his laser pistol before fleeing the scene. However, the Man-Thing rises out of the swamp, fully healed from the Foolkiller's previous attack. As the Foolkiller rushes to his truck, which operates as his mobile base of operations, he almost drives Richard Rory and Ruth Hart off the road. Rory, one of Foolkiller's targets, gets by unnoticed by the Foolkiller, but Richard recognizes him and speeds away. Inside his truck, the Foolkiller confronts the preserved corpse of Reverend Mike, his inspiration to become the Foolkiller. This causes the Foolkiller to recount back to the events which led him to his destined mission. As a young boy, the Foolkiller was born fatherless. When his father dies in combat overseas, born crippled, he was taken to Reverend Mike's tent revival, where he was healed of his disability by Mike, and became an iconic figure for the revivals. After witnessing countless acts of what he deemed to be sinful behavior, the young man decides to become the Foolkiller to eliminate those he saw as foolish. The first of his victims would be Reverend Mike, the day he planned on showing Mike his plan. He would walk in on Mike, seeing him drunk and with a woman, and beat him to death. Finishing his tale, he used the money from the revival to buy all his equipment and has been traveling the country eliminating fools. Elsewhere in the swamps, the Man-Thing has led the family to the edge of the swamp, where they are spotted by Schist and his men. Schist orders the Man-Thing run down. However, when this doesn't work, Schist agrees to drive the family into town for help so they can get away from the Man-Thing before he can harm them. However, on the road, they are struck by the Foolkiller, who rams into the Jeep with his truck. While at a diner, Richard tells Ruth how he incurred the wrath of the Foolkiller, explaining that while he was a DJ at a radio station in Ohio, he received a threatening letter from the Foolkiller demanding him to stop playing blasphemous music. Rory became a target of the Foolkiller ever since, after he openly mocked the Foolkiller on the air. When the man who gave them gas enters the diner, Richard mistakes him for the Foolkiller because they have similar cars. However, the real Foolkiller rams into the diner in his truck and takes Richard prisoner. The Foolkiller then drives back to the crashed Jeep and takes Schist as his hostage as well, deciding to execute them together. Taking them back to the swamp, the Foolkiller is about to eliminate them when the Man-Thing appears on the scene. Feeling fear, the Foolkiller is burned by the Man-Thing. However, when he tries to blast him with his laser, Richard jumps him, causing the ray to blast the preservation tank the body of Mike has been suspended in. A shard of broken glass from his tank, piercing his heart and killing him instantly. With the threat over, the Man-Thing simply shambles off into the swamp once more. All right, so thoughts?
Yeah, this was full of more surprises I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Such as the scene when Foolkiller goes into this parked truck, and there's this body preserved in a tank of formaldehyde, and then it goes into his origin where he lashes out at his finds his childhood hero and his idol, like his inspiration for life. he walks in and finds this guy drinking booze with, I don't know, I guess is it implied that he's with a prostitute or something? I don't know.
Or I mean, maybe just
some,
that he's a priest or whatever, and he's with he's even if if he's about to I guess get down with a woman,
yeah, some member of the clergy that he's invited back to his boudoir or something. I don't know. But then Foolkiller flies into a murderous rage and just strangles him to death with his bare hands. Yeah, it's great. And also the scene where the panel where he runs down the Jeep with his truck. I wasn't expecting that either. I thought, oh my God, that escalated quickly.
I know.
Yeah. First he lets them go, and then he, like, a minute later, he sees them in the Jeep, and he's like, "What? They're still out driving around? They didn't pay heed to my warnings? Well, it turns out they're fools after all. I'm gonna kill them."
Yeah, he's not the most stable of
Yeah.
Well, that's like the people we shot down. He kills the father because
Right.
he's like, "You dare scoff at me?"
Yeah. Yeah, and they were transporting what, flood victims? Like in
Yeah.
that. Unreal. Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it says the Foolkiller's real name isn't even revealed here. It's not until a flashback in Amazing Spider-Man 225. So it's not until we get the second Foolkiller that we learn the name of the first.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I remember that panel vividly of the Foolkiller, his heart getting pierced by the shard of flying glass at the end on the last page, because I remember seeing Foolkiller's entry in the Marvel Handbook Book of the Dead, which was when I first started getting into comics. Like, I picked up all those Marvel Handbook issues because it was kind of like an encyclopedia of all these characters, and it was a nice way for me to learn about even some of the ones that weren't around anymore, like Foolkiller. And I remember, like, they showed in that handbook, the Book of the Dead version, they showed an excerpt from whatever issue it was in which this character perished. It would show, like, the scene of them dying. And so that was the panel it showed for Foolkiller, was that panel of the glass flying into his chest. But there was no word bubbles or any text or anything. It was just the art for the picture.
I was just looking at this Spider-Man issue because I was like, who wrote that? I know it wasn't Kurt. Yeah, it was Roger Stern. So,
oh, nice. Yeah.
So he must have enjoyed the character.
Well, the concept of the character is cool. Like, I'm glad that they kept it going even after this dude was killed. And now that I think about it, actually, I think there was even a Foolkiller in 2099.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
X-Men. Towards the end of the X-Men 2099, I think there was a Foolkiller who was also similarly, like, a religious bent, who was heavily, like, puritanical and, like, wanted to wipe out immorality and unethical behavior and all this stuff. People they thought were morally corrupt and decadent. Yeah.
Oh my God! Guess how the second Foolkiller learns about the first? He learns about him. He learns about him in prison when he's locked up with Richard Rory.
Oh, Richard!
Mm-hmm.
Damn, inspiring supervillains. That's not good.
Well, that's his luck, I guess.
Well, when you get dropped as a baby, all bets are off.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but again, the artwork was great in this. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I loved all the scene where Foolkiller runs down the Jeep. Like, all those panels were just tremendous artwork.
Oh my God, that panel with the father Mike and the woman. I mean, they're just sitting there on that couch, like drinking, and so it's like money on her lap. She's like,
yeah.
What are they doing? Just like rolling around on the money.
Well, that's what I thought. He had all the cash out, and I thought, like, he was paying her for, like, I don't know, a lap dance or
who knows maybe.
What else? Yeah.
My
He's
son,
getting all the cash out.
my son, you misunderstood me when I said the collection box.
Not that kind of box.
Superior puss.
Uh, so he strangles Mike to death. So I don't. It doesn't say it. Did he do anything to a woman? I don't think it said either way.
Yeah, you'd think that she was like a witness to murder, right? But I guess she must have ran off or something. I don't know.
Unless she ran and he's like, that was a not foolish thing to do.
Yeah. That's so funny.
I can't. Oh yeah, but yeah, that's creepy. Where he just keeps Father Mike's body.
The
in that
body
tank.
preserved
Yeah.
in the back of his truck too. The first time I saw the truck, I thought that it was moving because it didn't. I think until a couple panels later, it said that it was parked. But I thought, who's driving this thing? And then all of a sudden, a ramp opens up in the back of it while it's moving, and he just drives up into it. But no, it turns out it was parked the whole time. But at first, I thought it was traveling down the road. And he just drove up into it.
But it's like, how much money did that revival make? I mean, he was able to like buy a laser pistol and this tricked out truck with
with all this high tech stuff. How did he come across all this equipment?
I'm just saying that revival must have made a lot of money.
Well, you never know.
Because again, if you got enough money in the Marvel universe, you could find someone to build this stuff for you.
That's true. He could have had the Tinkerer make it for him. Yeah.
Or it's like AIM or something.
Yeah. That definitely could be an AIM weapon or Hydra.
Oh my lord, that is like the best. I think that is the best panel in this issue when Man-Thing just rising out of the water, healed. Yeah.
Yes, me too. I love that one. And the panel when the Jeep runs into the Man-Thing a couple pages later. That's also a great image.
And it doesn't even like move.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's so good. I love everything about that.
Yeah, definitely this art works better with this type of story and not that sword and sorcery stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This to me is like perfect Man-Thing stuff.
Oh yeah.
Set in the swamp, it's it has a weird dark bent to it. But it doesn't get too metaphysical yet. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed this a lot.
Like
and
I
I
said,
think that we should cover some more in future years on Marvel Tales, because this
worry.
only went up to issue 22. I looked. I didn't realize it only lasted a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I know you want more Man-Thing.
Yes, more Man-Thing.
Because, like I said, this will be like a hard type of character to write. Because again, it's like you have to like flesh out the world around him because he can't hold it down himself.
Yeah. You have to have a good supporting cast, like you said.
I have to have other stuff going on. But another point I wanted to make, it's like poor Ted Sallis. It's like Foolkiller figures out who he is because he's like, yeah, I'm the only one like who bothered to pay attention and put the clues together to figure out Ted Sallis, was transformed into Man-Thing.
Oh yeah, exactly. The one guy that is able to decipher all this stuff, and he wants to kill him.
Yeah, he's not going to help him or nothing.
Yeah, he's not trying to revert his condition back into a human or do anything to try to make it so that he can communicate with people or try to get somebody else to help him that's more qualified to do it. No, he's just going to try to kill him. Okay, yeah, all right. But Steve Gerber also excels at writing these foaming at the mouth, frothing psychopath villains.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we have here. This dude is just off the rails nuts.
And again, that's what I'm saying. I think it's the message Gerber's trying to give. It's like, oh yeah, look at this this raving or religious
Yeah, Bible beater. Yeah.
You know, who judges the world through his morals. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's got this. His morals are so great that he'll run a whole jeep full of people off the road with his semi truck.
And what's the whole thing? It's like, oh yeah, if they're worthy, they'll survive this laser shot.
Yeah, exactly. They'll survive it. This dude that was transporting victims from a flood, like he just guns this dude down. Yeah.
But again, Ted Salas was a fool because he tried to come up with that formula, you know, and that turned him into a man thing. It's like, was that punishment enough?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like it was intentional. He didn't set out to do it. What are you gonna do? Go after Kurt Connors too?
I mean, kill him now. He probably kind of put him out of his misery. Right now, he's wandering the swamp as basically an animal. You know, it's just.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, not the most rational.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Any other final thoughts on this, Justin?
No, it was a good time reading these two issues rather for the first time. That was really fun.
Yeah, I don't think I read these because I was like, wait a minute, did I read some man thing? I think that was the giant size ones we read. So yeah, that's
yeah, we did a couple of episodes on those last year. Yeah.
Like, didn't I read a giant size? Didn't I read a man thing #1, but it's giant size?
Yes. Not to be confused with the giant size.
It's like, I'll never forget. All right.
You never forget your first.
Oh my. Your first giant size.
Exactly.
Oh my.
That's a mouthful. That's a handful. Bigger is better.
And remember, kids, if you're the Foolkiller,
don't pull it out unless you're going to use it. That's true for guns and penises.
Absolutely.
Let me get a ride on your alligator back.
With the white blast and everything.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
Thank you, Negan. All right. Anything else?
No. We can talk about Namor-vember now.
Well, no, we have one more episode in October. Don't jump the gun.
Oh, that's right. Yes. We have our
them.
mega Midnight Suns spectacular
That will actually drop on Halloween Day, kids. So yes, Rise of the Midnight Suns next time from Ghost Rider 28, Ghost Rider and Blaze Spirits of Vengeance #1, Morbius Living Vampire #1. Oh, it's gonna be Morbin time. All right,
Morbin time. Yeah.
Darkhold pages from the Book of Sins #1, Night Stalkers #1, and Ghost Rider #31. So
yeah,
make sure you read all those and then send us your thoughts on those, and then we start Namor-vember for Justin's birthday month. Yes,
that's right.
Namor the Submariner 1 through 3, then Namor the Submariner 12 through 14, then Prince Namor the Submariner miniseries, and then of course our big 100th episode where we cover some of Namor's most famous appearances: Marvel Comics #1, Fantastic Four #4, Fantastic Four Annual #1, and Defenders #1.
Yes.
So if you love Namor like this gentleman does, oh,
you're gonna be happy in November.
You're in for a good time.
Yes.
All right. So yes. So because I'm gonna get the plugs up. All right. So yes. So send us your thoughts, and again, you can send us thoughts on our previous episodes. Okay, here's an interesting poll. What was your favorite story? Well, I guess after next episode you should do this, but I was gonna say, what was your favorite spooky tale this month? Was it the Doctor Strange? Was it the Man Wolf? Was it the Cap story? Was it this? And again, like I said, or is it next week's Midnight Suns? So
yeah, we have a nice little smorgasbord this year.
So All right. So yes, kids. So send us your thoughts on stuff we've covered, stuff that's upcoming. If you send us requests, we may get to it by 2026.
No promises, though. No promises.
No.
We're already looking at that year as we speak.
Send us your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise. Get your brand new
Yes.
Capes and Lunatics merch, or classic Capes and Lunatics merch. And of course, you must rain random money on us through the Cash App link. Don't make Lil give you the burning touch. The flamethrower helps.
Make it rain.
No, she's still looking for somewhere to fire a rocket launcher. I want to make that happen for her, while standing behind her. I want to make that happen.
Well, not too clousely behind. You don't want
No,
to
but definitely not in front of her. No. Oh yeah, love to see her blow some stuff up. All right, and so yes, rain random money on us with the Cash App link.
Make it rain.
Please don't make us dance on that metaphorical pole. We don't need. We don't need man things. Well, I don't need man things coming after me. I won't speak for anyone else here.
She's just working a stripper pole down at Divas.
And of course, the Patreon, where we give you something different and exclusive every month, completely uncensored. Again, it could be anything. Could be the career of John Byrne. God, Lilith and I've talked our road trip this year, how we reviewed this year's AVN Awards. And of course, September, it was, ranking the Alien movies franchise. And again, if you're a patron, like the Owl down there, you can request topics for us to discuss.
Yes, like the Alien one was my idea. Yeah.
Show us the John Byrne. Yeah. Quit slacking, Ray. Send some. So you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics, and find everything at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. It's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right. Now for this owl fellow, you can find him here every week on Marvel Tales. You can find him at least, once a month on X-Men Classics, but that's going to be becoming more frequent.
By popular demand.
Yeah, by popular demand. And again, monthly with me and Russell on One World Under Doom.
Yes.
Dr. Doom podcast, our brand new show. Especially for you MCU fans who may not know much about Doom. Come on, we'll teach you some things there.
That's right.
And then over on Capes Lunatic Sidekicks, at least once a month, he appears on We Are the Night,
the Batman podcast,
talking Azrael, and he shows up for other things, like when we just did the live watch of Batman 89.
Yes, which was fantastic fun.
Yes. And again, he makes frequent appearances on Electric Mullet, the Superman podcast.
Yep.
But that is not all the King of Podcasting does. So, Justin, tell them where else you can be heard.
You can also find me 3 times a month over on these shows. Gamma Charge, where Russell and I currently discuss either the Immortal Hulk, we're currently going through that entire series, or the sensational She-Hulk. We're alternating coverage on both of those, and it is great fun. And we have a Patreon, so do check that out. And over on Predator and Prey, we are joined by the High Priest of Khonshu, Ray, and we're discussing some classic Dark Horse comics from the early 90s, early to mid 90s. And over on the Lost Library of Legends, my solo show dedicated to the Lost and Forgotten comic book series of the last few decades. In October, I will be doing a spotlight actually on another Steve Gerber story, a 2-issue miniseries called The Legion of Night.
We're going back to the 90s here, bitch. Double biscuits for me.
2 issues.
Double biscuits for me.
That's right.
Things in common, cannabis and comics and everything that starts with Steve.
We played that one.
Guilty or innocent.
Guilty as hell.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
That's right.
No, my.
Always. Always.
Oh, that's naughty. I love it.
All right. Thank you, Al. All right. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Oh, Lord. How did I know this was going to go this way when we started talking man thing? All right, kids. So, yes, next time for your final spooky tale if you listen on the podcast, we'll hit on Halloween, Rise of the Midnight Suns. Then it's a straight month of Namor.
Yes. All month long.
All right, kids. So, don't be a fool. Come back next time and kill some time with us. Good night.